Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. Sorry I'm a couple days late, guys. We had the holiday weekend, and that always throws me off. My kids are home, we do something fun, and then they're home. And those that are mothers of young kids, they don't leave us alone for even a second, which I love it. I try to remain in that mindset of, I love this, and one day I'm going to miss it when they're kicking me out of their room. So it's okay. I had a great Memorial Day weekend, but I just got this episode out late to you guys. So we didn't miss too many big transits. There was one big one that happened on Sunday, though. I talked about it a little bit on last week's episode. That is Venus stationing direct in Leo. Yay! This was definitely an intense Leo retrograde. I can tell you that. On Monday, we had Mercury retrograde. Trining Jupiter as Jupiter stations retrograde in Taurus. On Wednesday the 6th, which is today, Mercury retrograde conjoins the Sun. On Friday the 8th, the Sun in Virgo trines Jupiter in Taurus. You know what? Honestly, September is going to be a nice month. It's going to be a recharge month. It's going to be a rebirth month. And it's going to be calm astro seas in September. So I just want to start out with that. It's going to be a nice flow the rest of September. And then come October, we kick back into eclipse season, which brings some twists of fate. So right now, enjoy the calm seas of September. And I'll explain a little bit more how later in the episode. I want to remind everyone, I am on social media, Cosmic Colleen, 1C in the middle, no other names. I had another scammer account out last week. I'm sure I have a lot, but we all know what happened back in May when I had a really bad attack of scammer accounts and all that crazy shit. And then I found out last week that I had another one. And do you know what's interesting? The first one happened when Saturn in my 7th house of others squared my 10th house of the 10th house is career, public image, everything. And then the second one happened whenever the Sun in Virgo, which I have in the first house, went opposite Saturn in Pisces and then squared my natal Sun again. And then it's like, boom, more scammer accounts. So I just want to remind everyone, I will never DM you about a reading. I have no other accounts. If you see Cosmic Colleen with 3 C's, 2 2's, this is how they do it. 1 underscore underneath that is absolutely not me. This last one, someone's, screenshot and said to me, their name was Colin Dixon. And I just, too, anyone who DMs you for a reading and says, right now what they're trying to do, too, is they comment on your stuff and be like, wow, I feel so called to you and this and that. And they feed on people who really are feeling in the moment like they need to hear a message. And then they scam you. So no legit reader of any kind online will message you, okay, about getting a reading and harass you or comment on your stuff. No legit readers. So remember that. That's tarot readers, that's astrology readers, that's psychics. Anyone who does that is a scammer, okay? Now, before we get into the astrology, I added to my social media, guys, I am going on a social media cleanse for a couple weeks. I didn't set a full date. I didn't set a start and a finish. I mean, I did set a start. That's today, which is interesting as Mercury retrograde conjoins the Sun in my first house. I decided today that I am going to kick off not doing it. Now, I've been feeling this for a while, and I'm going to talk about this for a couple minutes before we get into the transits, because I think that this is honestly a tough thing for a lot of us. I think that all of us as a collective are really feeling a social media burnout. And since 2020 began, all of us started getting on social media 10 times more. We started putting videos out. We started doing all this. And I know every Joe Schmo, maybe, especially during COVID, had this hope that they would be, the next person found on social media. So even more so, people were putting themselves out there. Go, 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 go. And we're becoming overstimulated and tired. I know it's not just me, because I have a lot of friends I've been talking to about this over these last couple months. And it's like, and my clients, the collective, we're tired. We're tired of scrolling. I mean, even after I post, I don't get a lot of chance to scroll. And I scroll for a couple minutes and I'm like burned out, I'm sick of every little free moment. I go there to see what it is, or it alerts me, or this, that, and the other. And I'm like been deeply reflected of, is this a big waste of time? in one way it's not, but the way that the media, the social media, the Facebook, the Mike Zuckerbergs, or what's his name? Todd, I can't remember his name, Zuckerberg, whatever. Though those people have made it so our brains become addicted to it. It's proven. And now it's been out for so long and in such a tense way. I'm burned out. I'm tired. And since 2019, I began the hair healer. So back then, I've started my astrology study professionally and taking courses, and I started the hair healer. And I was like, and actually it was really 2018, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this out there for the world, and I'm going to help this for the world, and I'm going to share for the world. And I made that shit a second job since the end of 2018. And it's been amazing growth, and I've changed and I've shifted and I've grown within that. Nothing really that's worth lasting starts up really, really fast. You know, the fast stuff usually burns out just as fast. But I want to say the last couple months, it's really come to me like, I'm just tired of it. I've put out so much energy. The last couple months, I'm like, I just want to go home and I want to watch TV, or I want to read, or I want to do something else when my kids go to sleep. Instead, after working 10 hours at the salon, I'm like, oh my God, I got to get, this transit up that I talked about on TikTok, and I got to get on Instagram, and I got to do this, and I got to comment, or my video won't get out there. And all of this stuff that I'm constantly giving out, and I'm giving out for free, and I'm sharing and I'm sharing and sharing because I love it for the world. I just came to my end, and I started thinking about it a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't ready for it yet. And I have a lot of, I have a lot of stuff going on taking care of my mother. I have a lot of stuff that I really now need to figure out which direction and what way am I really going to take my business and all my business, my hair, and I have a lot of things to figure out in my life. And so a couple days ago, I guess it must have been Sunday, I was like, I'm done. This week, I'm done, like, for social media for maybe a month, maybe longer, maybe less, I don't know. And then when I really realized, like, the more I got to it, I was like, I'm going to do it Wednesday. And then I was like, oh shit, that's funny. The astrology transit's happening in my first house. And I'm like getting excited about it. I'm more ready than ever. I'm just like, want to put it down, and I don't want to go back to it for a long time, because there's going to be mental clearing. There's going to be mental understanding. When we take something out, and I don't think we realize how much we take in from social media, when we take that out of our minds and our space, your whole mind, your body, and your energy is open for all kinds of new things to blossom and to take over in your mind. And I'm ready for that. And I'm hoping just to do some deep reflection and a really understanding about what direction I need to take in everything. So just know my profiles will still be up. I'm not, but I'm going to delete the app. So if you don't see me post, you don't see me like your stuff, if you're someone I like your stuff, you don't see that, I am not going on social media whatsoever. I will still have my Facebook Messenger app up because some of my hair clients will message me on Facebook Messenger. But other than that, I will not be posting anything for a little bit. Now, I have a Gemini 10th house with the midheaven in the 10th house, a Gemini Mercury, it's the sun. So I'm sure I won't be forever. You know what I mean? I love to put myself out there, and I love to share myself. But right now, I've just done it too much that, you do something too much, you want to go the whole opposite direction. And that's how I feel, which is also very Gemini. Now, I will still be posting these episodes every single week. So I won't go without astrology. You guys will still get the updates every single week on my podcast about what is happening with astrology. I'm just taking a break from the social media. And again, I'm excited for it. And if you guys are feeling that social media burnout, and it's hard, at first, like I said, I was like, I don't want to do it. But I did want to do it. Now I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I suggest doing it even for a week, 2 weeks, a couple days, and really reflect on your mind, your body, your spirit. Because also, and I don't mean to go on this whole rant about social media, I will be talking about astrology, I promise you, but a lot of mental health comes from that. I'm even seeing it with my younger niece. I've seen it with myself. I've seen it with other people in viewing me. There's something I've learned long ago how to disconnect from social media. With doing hair, I hear the inside worlds of everyone. So even if they pretend that their world is perfect, I know that nobody is perfect. I take that understanding when I look at social media. But I know some people get really jealous or sad, or, oh, that person has love, that person has beauty, that person has this, that, whatever these people are presenting online. And if that is you, I challenge you to fight that, because that's something in you, that feeling like you're not good enough, that you don't deserve that. And years ago, I fought that. Anytime one of those feelings happened, I would force myself to go back up to the post, like it, love it, and comment so I could get through that, so I don't feel that anymore at all. And I really don't when I see people. But even just taking in the energy of doing that, and it may be 10 minutes, but in her mind, it's really like 100 minutes of that. How much energy is going out just to those little things. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I'm not going to keep. I have like 1,000 more thoughts about social media and how it affects our minds, our bodies, our soul, how it affects our relationships, our friendships. But I don't want to waste it all on this episode. But I'll say one more thing and I'm done, because I was thinking this too. Even when it came to myself and friendships, I stopped wanting like people I just met. I know I have a good amount that follow me, but like to start being friends with them on Facebook, because over the years, I also, like, I'm presenting as the Cosmic Colleen, not Colleen. I put myself out there a little bit, but a certain way. And I learned that if I'd meet someone, whether it be a client or a friend, and they started following me, it happened more than once. I mean, maybe 5 times over the last, since 2018, I can think of it, maybe 6 or 7. Nothing else happened outside of us being friends with social media. I do not post controversial things at all. And this person, like, they would watch me, so I guess it would be jealousy for whatever reason. And then we would just stop. They would stop following me. They would stop talking to me. They would stop everything, and it would be gone. And I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm like, really? We're going to let something like a presentation, we're going to let something control our minds that much online that we're going to, stop that? So I stopped wanting people, even clients, to like follow me on Instagram. I really did. And I'm like, I have my Instagram persona, and then I have my real life persona, and if people really got to know me in the real life, I didn't want them to know me in this other life because of this happening in past relationships. And I've been thinking about that. I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Are we really all just letting, the computer control us however it wants to? All right, that's my last thought on that. That really is my last thought on that. Okay, let's move on to the transits. So one of the things I want to talk about is Venus stationing retrograde in Leo. This was a hard summer. This was especially for fixed placements. And that's my Scorpio, that's my Leos, that's my Taurus, and that's my Aquarius placements. My fixed placements, having this happen, Venus in Leo, it means it was hitting one of your angular houses, which has been, is a tougher house to hit. And so, especially Leo and Taurus placements, there was a lot of reflection on what you want in life, where you're going, what's happening, the bigger picture, who makes you happy, what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure. Now, to a smaller degree, we all had that. I had this in the 12th house, Venus in the 12th house, which revealed a lot. And there's a lot of that to the ego. Again, one more thing that was revealed to me about social media with this Venus retrograde was actually within my own ego. And what am I doing it? Besides, I love giving out information about astrology for free. I love it. But what other ways am I doing it just based out of ego? Outside of giving this out to people for free, I was like, what ways am I just doing it to stroke my ego? And when I get deeper within that thought, how does that feel for me, or what does that look, and how is that taking away from this world? So there was a lot of pain because there was a lot of having to look at your ego. And the ego is what creates the pain. The soul doesn't create the pain, the ego creates the pain. So now with Venus stationing retrograde, we're getting our answers, we're moving forward, we're pushing forward through some pain, we're gaining deeper understanding, and things are going to start moving well again forward. So a bigger understanding about how to set up your life so there's more joy and happiness. That was a big thing over Venus retrograde. Like, what is really bringing me joy? What is really bringing me happiness? And am I giving time in my life for these type of things? Or am I filling up my time with wasteful things like social media, or working too much, or, feeling insecure so I don't go out and do anything? Those type of things were really showing up. So now you have a bigger understanding, like, you know what? I want more joy. I want more happiness. And now this is what I need to do to push forward to get those things. Creative goals should become more clear after this Venus retrograde, because there's a lot of creativity and where we want to take our life path with Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo. So seeing honestly about what works and what is really wasting your time. And we will see and accept what isn't working. And have an experiment, right? Like I said, I was like, is social media, is this really wasting my time right now? And so I'm taking this break to really see in what direction do I want to go, and what is, and accepting like what is worth it. And when it comes to my career path, when it comes to my purpose and my path, really saying, we're all going to be saying, that's not worth it. I'm not doing that anymore. That's, and seeing this very clearly. a better understanding about what you want in a relationship, or if you already are in a relationship, you guys might have worked through some major relationship hurdles that happened during that time, and now you feel more enlightened throughout your relationship, or you feel like you got over a hump, or you guys feel like you finally pushed past some barriers within your intimacy, within your understanding of intimacy, and within your connection. And the same goes again for if you're single. Maybe you had some trouble with dating, or maybe you just sat there alone and really looked at like how you can change, or maybe not even how you can change, how you can practice some more self-love. Because a lot of times when it's in the beginning, it's not that you need to change, it's that you're accepting what this person is saying to you when it comes to rejecting you. When rejection has nothing to do with you, it has everything to do with them, and it's their thing. Also, feeling more enlightened by challenges of the ego, and feeling kind of like you broke through some of those ego challenges that kept showing up to you when it comes to your life purpose, relationships, pleasure, joy, happiness, your own self-love, and your aesthetic, and pushing past challenges of those egos. Now you're like, okay, I got a little light and shit on my side, and now I can dive a little bit deeper in life. And then finding joy again, maybe a new joy or an older joy that came back and made you happy again. Maybe during this time you stopped something and you reflected on that, and then you're bringing it back and you're like, oh, okay, actually this does bring me joy in this way. I just need to take a break from it. Or it does bring me happiness in a way. I got to take a break from it. So all of those things are really going to be happening now. Now at the end of the month, like I said, and I'll share about it on this podcast, we're kind of finishing out the transit when Saturn will now move ahead and then square Uranus again. And that will be for the third time. It will square it again, and we'll have a deeper... It'll kind of like I said in last week's episode, it will be like a 3-part. So now when we're hitting it for the third time out of retrograde, we're really like exploding in a good way and showing the world like, this is what I did go through, but this is how I launched from that. This is this new version of myself or my mind or my soul or my body from that. So it's going to be good. It's going to be like a rebirth moment within that. Ooh, let me know, guys. Send me some, well, I guess you can't DM me on Instagram or TikTok, but, you should probably have my email if you guys don't have that, thehairhealer1111@yahoo.com. Things like that. Email me or message me on Facebook Messenger or text me and let me know how this retrograde played out for you and some stories. And maybe I'll share them if you guys allow me to share them about what is happening and how this showed up for you and how this played out. But I hope that everyone had a very informative, intuitive, awakening Venus retrograde in Leo. I really do. Now today, like I said, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun in Virgo. So new mental vision rebirths, as well as taking a mental step that you need to do in order to figure stuff out. Kind of like I'm doing today. This is happening, and this is a big transit for me in Virgo because I'm Virgo rising, Virgo moon, and it's squaring in opposition to all my major planets as well. And so now I'm going inward. Now it's conjunct. I'm saying, okay, I'm taking a pause of the mind in some way in order to have a future rebirth of mind, body, and soul and realign myself. And it doesn't have to be as big as what I'm doing. It could be something small, but just getting a little bit of a new mental vision rebirth and taking a mental step in order to figure things out. Now, at the end of the week, I'm excited about this transit. Friday, we got the Sun in Virgo trine Jupiter in Taurus. And, the spiritual seeds that you began to plant in May when Jupiter first moved into Taurus are now starting to bloom, or you'll see the first crop. And not a big bloom, just a little sort of bloom within your life. And back in May, when Jupiter moved into Taurus, maybe you took a spiritual step. Maybe you took a new class. Maybe you started a new job. Maybe you started something to shift your aesthetic, something that you put work into. Now, this weekend, you should be feeling, like I said, that first bloom, that first crop. Maybe you've been working out and you see your first arm muscle. I know I have a little bit and you're like, oh, DM, okay, nice, I'm going to keep going. Or maybe you started a new spiritual practice and you're starting to finally it pay off, or therapy, and you're like, okay, yes, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm finally seeing a result. That sort of feeling is going to be playing out this weekend. That sort of, I'm finally seeing the result, and that's going to keep pushing me forward to keep working harder towards whatever these mindset or soul goals are. Now, rewards for your mental hard work can also show up from now. If you've been putting in the hard work for months, really, you can have a reward towards your hard work. And maybe it's someone else just saying, hey, wow, you've really changed, or I've noticed how you changed that, or maybe you just feel it within yourself, or maybe because you did differently, you got promoted in some sort of way, or some sort of letter of recognition. Wait, am I saying that right? I feel like I do that in every episode. Am I saying that right? You finally get recognized. And so it could be as little as, which isn't little. The most important thing is that you get the awareness. That's actually the biggest thing. But not like a big outward boom. You just sort of awaken to that mental hard work. Like, yeah, I'm putting a lot of work. I'm not going backwards and doing what I used to do that used to take me away from it. I feel good. I'm in where I am now. Or it could be like, a boss saying, wow, I've really noticed how much you've grown and changed. Here's this reward. You may find a new mental calling or a mindset calling or a soul calling with this. Like, that's what I need to do. That makes sense. This is what I'm going to do now. Or you start a new mindset spiritual practice that feels so right away. Have you ever started something out there in the soul world? I remember the first time 10 years ago I started manifesting. I think it was a new moon, or started working with the moon. And right away I was like, oh, this feels right. Like, this is exactly what my soul needs, and it still is something I do, and it's a big practice for me. And so something like that, like you start off and just right away, you're like, this is what I need, and this feels right. Like, one of those things that really feel right. Harmony with friends and family members, but more family members of like the female family members, sisters, cousins, aunts, maybe some other energy in there a little bit, but harmony with friends. It's going to be a good weekend. Maybe if you were fighting with someone, there's a more understanding, a push away from that, or just like overall joy. Again, this month is much calmer seas, much calmer. So I challenge you with the awakening. If you are used to emotional chaos or emotional ups and downs, that was me growing up. I had even though in one way I had a stable life, I actually also, there was a lot of chaos within that stability and a lot of changes and shifts. And so I had realized over the last couple of years in relationships, friendships, things like that, that I had to change that because I was attracted to chaos in people and that chaotic emotion. So, the calm seas of September, so outside sources aren't making things too crazy for us, really practice being present in the mundane, in the boring, in feeling settled. If that's not something you're good at, like, pay attention as to why. What comes up when you've had a couple days of no arguing, no changing, no shifts, no, feeling like you got to set up a million things for you to do? What is your soul, your mind feeling? At first, it probably feels bored. It probably feels like, antsy. It probably feels, just very, maybe even a little anxiety. But sit in it longer. I challenge you to sit in that longer. Sit in the mundane. Sit in that and see how you push past. So I want to take this time for you guys to really awaken the peace, because within the mundane, within the boring, within the feeling settled, that's where real peace is, and that's where real happiness is. I know I share about this on the episode a lot, but I've learned to be overly happy. And I did grow up with happy, parents and people who naturally happiness did come to them. Feeling that happiness, is really in the day-to-day. And I learned that from my dad. My dad was a country boy. He didn't eat a lot. I was always out there searching for more, and I'd be like, Dad, don't you want this? Don't you want this? No, I'd be like, Dad, you have the money. You could move anywhere. Why do you want to live in the country in Western PA? And he's like, because I love it here. I can travel anywhere I want, but I love it here. And he was very simple. He would be so excited about, I remember when French vanilla coffee, I guess, hit the market, and I'd go to his house and he would sit down. He's like, let's have this coffee. And we'd sit outside. He's like, I'm so excited about this. You literally thought it was gold. And he would be like, taste this. And we would drink, he would be so excited about it. We'd sit outside, look at nature, and drink our coffee. And that man single-handedly taught me to continue that life, that happiness lies in these daily moments. It doesn't lie in, yes, it's great when you go on vacation and big things happen and your love and those things, but none of those things last forever. What does last forever is being settled and being in the mundane of your daily life. So every day when you practice happiness about and really just say it out loud, even if you kind of fake it. Like, I'm excited about this drive. Like, I love driving to work. I put my music on, or I listen, or I pray, and I love my drive. Every single day I love my drive to work. It's about finding the happiness in that daily day. So that is what I challenge you in this September. When we're getting into the routine, when we're, again, being present, and we're going to be present in the mundane and the boring and feeling settled, you're going to find your happiness there. And you're going to practice that daily happiness. And just by saying, I'm really happy I get to go to the gym today, and that's exciting. I'm really happy how good this hamburger tasted. That's exciting. I'm really happy about this great conversation I had on the phone. That stuff is what will lead you to internal happiness and internal peace. So, again, be present in the boring. Reflect when you feel antsy. Reflect when you want to seek out chaos. Reflect on that and write on that. And practice every day being happy in all your little moments. Okay? That's for the whole month. You heard me? Whew. All right. Well, I hope everyone has, again, a great week. Again, as of today, I'm going to do a little post on social media that says I'm going on a social media cleanse, a detox, and who knows when I'll be back there. However, every single week I will be presenting these episodes. I'm excited about that. Just wanted to let everyone know. Thank you again for those of you who tune in every single week, who listen, who share it with a friend. Plug in this podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Some of you guys have been day ones, been doing this for me forever. And I don't know if there's enough gratitude, if I share enough gratitude, but how much I really feel for you guys. And I thank you. And I love you all, and have a beautiful day.